the F250 is going to get an update. We're going to be fixing something that has existed for a long time. It's existed ever since I updated my mirrors, and it's kind of funny, and I can't yet decide if it's a bug or a feature, but it's not something that I actually want to keep going with the new update that we're going to be making today. And, as always, you guys are just killing it in the comments section. You guys are amazing. But before we do anything else today, we have got to go wash this truck. It iced the other day and it just left an awful mess all over this thing. So we're gonna go wash this first and then we'll get into today's video. And as a continuation from the last video, the part 2 is going to be changing out the marker lights for the F250. And it's not going to be super straightforward since the F250 is a custom job. In that model year, they didn't come with heated lighted mirrors with turn signals and all of the bells and whistles. So I had to build a custom harness and tap into different wires and run the wires myself and everything. And in running wires and tapping into them, I happened to tap into the wrong wires for the turn signals. And I have this really cool feature, or bug, where every time I hit my brakes, it actually lights up the marker lights on the mirrors as well. And that's because I tapped into the brake wires in the steering column instead of the turn signal ones. It's kind of funny. I drove around like that for, I don't know, probably 2 or 3 months before I realized that every time I was coming to a stop, I tapped my brakes occasionally, I was just flashing my markers at people. So we'll go ahead and fix those wires and then we'll get on with updating the markers. These are the markers that we're going to replace, and the way that I have these hooked up, I have these wired. There are marker lights and running light wires that run through the door, this thing up through the door, and I ran wires for that, and I also ran a 12-volt wire for the heated functionality as well. Where I tapped into the wires, I tapped into turn signal and running light inside of the steering column here, and that's where I ended up grabbing the brake wires instead of the turn signal wires. So I'm gonna have to take this cover off. There's a couple screws here. This fuse panel needs to come off first. Okay, now that we have this bottom panel loose, the ignition switch actually has to come out. So I have to get a pin, shove up here, and get this thing to come out first. It's really not the most graceful process in the world. Alright, so now that we have this off here, we can see this is where I tapped into what I thought were the correct wires, but they're actually not. I'm gonna play around with a test light here and try to figure out exactly which wires I need to be hooked into, and then we'll change out these connections. Alright, so it looks like I actually found one of the first wires that I need. Turn this on. Test light's blinking. Lights are on, so I just have to figure out if that is left or right, and I can tap into that wire at least. So it looks like that one is the left turn signal. And it looks like we found the right turn signal as well. If you've never seen it before, these things are amazing for testing wires. Pull this thing back, clamps onto the wire there, and then twist this little spike thing, just like that, right into the wire. And then you can test it with a test light right here, that metal lead right there. Alright, now that I know which wires go where, I'm going to use some of these quick connectors and hook these wires back up, and then we'll test it out. We have our new connections here. They are tapped into those wires. So now the moment of truth as to whether or not this is actually going to work. And it looks like they're working. That is awesome. That means that these will no longer turn on when the brakes are pressed. So now we can go ahead and move on to the next part of this where we update these things. I got a little ahead of myself there. I wanted to go ahead and put in the markers, but we should probably go ahead and put this thing back together first. finding the wires and updating what they were tapped to wasn't too bad. So now let's go ahead and take a look at the markers that we'll be using in today's video. We have these switchback smoked housings, just like what we put on the Excursion, and I thought that it would look a little crazy driving around with these being white and every time I hit my brake. Both of these would go orange. Now that that's fixed, we can install these and they'll function just like they should. The install for these is pretty straightforward. It's just a tab inside here, push the tab, and then out it comes. The last time I hooked this up, I hooked it up exactly as these wires are in here, with the red and the black to the red and the black, and the blue and black to the blue and black, and that was actually wrong for some reason. I'm gonna try to hook it up backwards this time. I totally forgot these are directional. I put them on the wrong side again, just like last time. I think this is the best part right here. Look at that. Oh man, that is crazy. We look at it with the smoked cab lights here, blacked out marker. I think that looks really good. And now we have both sides installed. So it looks pretty good. Got that one in. Well, let's turn them on and take a look at what they look like. And this is them on during the day. You can see that they have the white. And then when the turn signal comes on, then they turn to amber. Marker install was pretty straightforward. I still have a really hard time trying to figure out what to do with the sockets just because of how those particular markers are made. But it went pretty well, and I think they look pretty good. And as promised, we're gonna go have a look and see what this looks like at night. And there it is. It is impossible to see, but there they are. That is the white cab lights. We have the white marker lights. We have switchbacks. We have HIDs up front here. So it looks really good at night. I hope that, you know, it being dark and everything, I hope that this does it justice of just how good these lights really look all together. I'm so happy with that. I think that this is pretty much exactly what I want, and it's going to go very well with the next upcoming mod that I'm planning to do as far as the lights go. Not entirely sure when it's going to be, but it will fit very nicely with what we've done here. And there we go. That is the end of the day. It's nighttime now. The project was pretty successful. I'm really happy with how those lights are turning out. Really happy with the progress we've made so far, and I'm even more excited about the upcoming mods that I have planned for this thing. So it's going to be a lot of fun working on the F250, my other projects as well. I'm definitely looking forward to getting some video for you guys to check out. So if you can, please let me know what you think so far in the comments. If you're new to the channel and you made it this far, please tap that subscribe button and definitely click the like button as well. Thank you so much for watching, and have a nice day.